The truth taught by Pope Gregory XIII was taught dogmatically by other popes, including Eugene IV. It's part of the profession of faith that no one can be saved without the Catholic faith. However, this dogma is sadly denied by many who claim to be Catholic in our day, including groups such as the Society of St. Pius X, the CMRI, and many other groups. As we've covered before, Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, the founder of the Society of St. Pius X, in his book Against the Heresies, which is published by the Society of St. Pius X, which I have right here, explicitly and repeatedly teaches that souls can be saved in non-Catholic religions. That's blatant heresy. This is from pages 208 and 209 of this printing. Some earlier versions of the book will have these statements on pages 216 through 218. Lefebvre wrote, quote, "Souls can be saved in a religion other than the Catholic religion, Protestantism, Islam, Buddhism, etc., but not by this religion. One cannot say then that no one is saved in these religions," end quote. That statement is blatantly heretical. Before we cover more from Lefebvre, consider how directly Lefebvre's words contradict the teaching of Pope Gregory XVI, who stated, quote, "Finally, some of these misguided people attempt to persuade themselves and others that men are not saved only in the Catholic religion, but that even heretics may attain eternal life," end quote. Lefebvre wrongly believed that people could be saved without the Catholic faith and in false religions, but by the Catholic Church. No, that's not the Church's teaching. The Church doesn't teach that people can be saved without the Catholic faith and in non-Catholic religions, but by the causation of the Church. No, it dogmatically teaches that everyone must have the Catholic faith, must be in the Catholic religion, must be in the bosom and unity of the Church, and that all who die as pagans, heretics, Jews, etc. are not saved. Lefebvre also wrote, quote, "When we say that outside the Church there is no salvation, it is incorrectly believed that we think that all the Protestants, all the Muslims, all the Buddhists, all those who do not publicly belong to the Catholic Church go to hell. Now, I repeat, it is possible for souls to be saved in these religions, but they are saved by the Church," end quote. That again is more heresy. He's calling what the Church has dogmatically defined incorrect. Lefebvre taught the same heresy in his book Open Letter to Confused Catholics in the section on ecumenism, in which he explicitly mentions that he believes that animists and Muslims and others can be saved without the Catholic faith. He and the SSPX, of course, apply that to Jews as well, and thus directly contradict Pope Gregory XIII and an array of dogmatic pronouncements. The same heresy is taught in the Society of St. Pius X's booklet Time Bombs of the Second Vatican Council. It was taught by Bernard Follet, former Superior General of the Society of St. Pius X, who explicitly stated that he believes that a Hindu can be saved without the Catholic faith. Another related error that Lefebvre committed on this issue is that he thought that he was upholding the dogma outside the Church there is no salvation by saying that we should preach it, even if we believe that souls can be saved in non-Catholic religions. No, that's a modernist error. The idea that dogmas are preceptive norms for acting but not norms for believing was condemned by Pius X. Outside the Church there is no salvation is not just something that we preach, it's also something that we believe and know to be true. Hence, in defining this truth, Pope Eugene IV at the Council of Florence declared that, quote, "The Holy Roman Church firmly believes, professes, and preaches." It's something that the Church believes and preaches. And the heretical position taught by Lefebvre is accepted by all the Society of St. Pius X priests. They sadly don't have the Catholic faith. And so, priests like that, they can have all the externals in the world. They can adhere to tradition in various ways. But when they deny a dogma of the Church, it won't profit them anything. If you reject one dogma, you reject all faith. And the same heresy is held by almost all, not all, but almost all independent priests and groups in our day. And of course, it's held by the Vatican II sect and the groups under the Vatican II sect. And we've documented this fact for years, that the Society of St. Pius X and many other groups hold that souls can be saved in false religions, which is blatant heresy. And the people who care about the faith, they get it and they realize the significance of it. But many others who obstinately support and promote those groups could not care less that that's what they teach on this issue. All they care about, pretty much, is that they have somewhere to go to Mass on Sunday and where they go to church. And their attitude is not sufficient to get to heaven. They are compromising the faith, and they won't save their souls unless they start to believe in the Church's teaching and adhere to it without compromise. And the people who support or promote these groups that believe this, in the face of this evidence, will not save their souls. And one of the reasons that God allowed almost everything to be taken away is that he saw that people did not care about his truth and his word. And in many cases, the people who care a little bit, they primarily just care about where they go to Mass on Sunday. They don't care about his faith. And that's not sufficient. And that's why the prophet Samuel told King Saul, when Saul tried to offer a sacrifice in a disobedient fashion, that obedience is better than sacrifice, and that because you have rejected the word of the Lord has rejected you. You must have obedience to his word. You must accept his revelation to be saved. That's the foundation for everything. You can't know God without believing in his truth. You can't please him, and you can't save your soul. Everything must be built upon that. And so those other groups, they have externals, but they don't have the faith. They don't have the foundation, and they can't please God.